not only are the university at fault for the situation we're in, as far as we have grown people now that cannot think or use critical thinking, or that are weak and need coddling and all. It didn't just start with the universities. It goes all the way back, as some people have commented earlier on other videos, that it goes all the way back to K through 12. When all the coddling started and indoctrinations, and it has gotten so out of hand. Because when I grew up, first of all, everybody could spank us. I mean, the school teachers spanked us, the principal spanked us, our parents spanked us, the neighbors, uncles, aunts, anybody could spank us, and it was not child abuse. Okay, a spanking on the behind, or getting a strap and just one lick on the buttocks, as they call it, or a switch or a belt, just one lick. That's all it took. They didn't have to just keep pounding because it hurt. Because when you're little like that, you don't have much meat on your bones. But it was with punishment, and we respected grown people, and we were not coddled. We were spanked for being disobedient. Now they call everything what is it? Child abuse. Everything's child abuse now, and even parents cannot spank their kids. But I'm telling you, when I was growing up, I got my behind spanked by everybody. School teachers, the principals. I remember one time, I only went to the principals one time. I only had to get spanked by the principals. And see, my school teachers, they had a leather strap, and the principal had a leather strap as well. And like I said, they just give you one lick on the behind, and like I said, we were all skin and bones, and that's all it took, and we would just be crying. But I only got one spanking from the principal, and that's because I was in the 4th grade, and this little boy in my class, he's also my neighbor, he kept saying, get on the playground, I'm going to beat you up. And I never could stand for anybody to threaten me. If you're going to do it, let's do this. I cannot stand for somebody to say what they're going to do to me. So we got on the playground, and we started fighting. We was around this big tree, and we started fighting. And of course, the teacher, said stop it, and she sent us to the principal's office. So now the two of us are standing in front of the principal's desk, and he's sitting in his chair, and he's saying, okay, if you two apologize to each other, you won't get a spanking. Well, the little boy, he apologized. He said, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But me, I was like, no, I'm not sorry. I meant to do it. I'm not going to say I'm sorry. And so he just took that strap and just one lick, and it hurt so bad. And I just boo-hoo cried. Then he sent us back to the room. That was the only time I got spanked by the principal. But I got spanked by teachers, 3 or 4 times. And not to mention at home. But we were not coddled. We were disciplined. And we were respected any grown person. They could be 20 years old. They were still a grown person, and we respected them. But now the teachers, they don't believe in any kind of spanking. And they don't want the parents to spank them. And they want to raise the kids. The school systems, the public school systems, now wants to raise the kids. And the reason I know this is, like I said, I don't have any kids. But I got the shock of my life in 2011 when my nephew, my great nephew, he's the son of my nephew. Well, his mother, the mother and the father are not together. So the mother of my great nephew called me from Tennessee, and she asked me, would I take custody of her child? Could he come out here and go to school? And I was like, well, yeah, I'll take him. I'll take him, yeah. He was 17 years old, just turning 17. And so this was before school started. So I said, okay, well, I got to get prepared. I didn't have any kids. I didn't know anything about the school system. So I started asking people. I wanted to put him in the best school. I said, what's the best school? And they told me the name of the high school. And so, but you had to be in the zip code. So I wasn't far from the school, but I wasn't in the zip code. So I spent $10,000 of my savings moving from one apartment to get in the apartment in the zip code of this school. In this apartment complex, this kid, so he came out there, he came out here, and he had his own room. It was 2 swimming pools on the site, tennis court, a basketball court, a bike trail in the back of the apartment. I mean, he had it made. Bought him a brand new laptop, because they said in this school that they took all their tests. This is such a good school. They took all their tests online like college students. So I bought him a brand new laptop. He had it made. All he had to do was just do his work. And he was a smart kid. That's the only reason I accepted him coming out here, because he's a smart kid. So here I am. This is the first time I'm being like a mother. I have tons of nieces and nephews. But this is the first time I've taken custody of a child. So he's out here. So he goes to this school. Now listen, the majority of the people in this schools, there are not many blacks. You could count them on one hand. So it was like, this is also a upper middle class area here. And upper middle class, and wealthy. So this is the kind of school he was in. So he was a wrestler. He was on the wrestling team. He was a very good wrestler. He had been good back home. So his coach was glad to get him. So all he had to do was do his work. I gave him money to spend, and I had to pay for his lunch because I made too much money. They said my income was way too much for him to get reduced or free lunch. So I paid that. I bought him a bus pass. This is for the public bus to ride back and forth, because I couldn't take him to school because I had to be at work. That was like, at that time, maybe $35 a month for a teenager or for youth, anybody under 18. Bought that. I bought him clothes. I mean, he had it made. All he had to do was do his work. Well, one thing about it, this was the first time he had been treated like this. Because with me, he ended up being a only child. Back home, he had, siblings, and he didn't get the attention that I was giving him. So I kind of like gave up a lot for this young man to try to invest in him so he could have a bright future. Okay, so I'm at work, and the guidance counselor calls me on the job. And she tells me that he's got zeros in every class. That means he did nothing. Now, I was shocked because I'm thinking, why would he do that? And he's a very smart kid. And remember that this is an intelligent kid. So he turned in no homework at all, no assignments at all. So I'm going nuts on the phone, and I walk out of the office, and I'm out in the hallway, and she's like, "Calm down, Miss Dixon, calm down." I'm like, "No, I'm coming there. I'll be right there." So I go tell my supervisor, and he's like, "Pat, see, this is what being a parent is." He says, "Go ahead, take care of it, and come back when you can." So I take off, and I go to this school. And when I get there, I go into this counselor's office. She's a white lady, and she tells me this. She says, "We had to hide him from you because, we are his advocate. We have to protect him from you, and so we've hidden him. And because we don't want you, I guess so I won't harm him. I'm the parent, supposedly. And the school had hidden him from me because I'm supposed to be a threat, because she called me and I was upset. And of course I was upset. But this is a 17-year-old boy now. So I don't know what they thought I was going to do to him. So I'm sitting in there. So then here comes this other lady. I guess maybe she's one of his teachers. And she comes bringing him in there, escorting him in there. So it's me, my nephew, and the guidance counselor, and this other lady. So they started talking. I'm sitting there. They start saying, "Sweetheart, tell us what's the matter. Is there something wrong at home causing you not to do your homework? What's the problem?" I said, "Shut up," talking to him like that. I said, "What are you talking? This is a 17-year-old boy." I said, "You don't talk to him like that." I said, "There's nothing wrong with him but lazy. There's nothing wrong with him keeping him from doing his work." And they stopped and they jumped. And I said, "He's getting ready to go out into the world." I said, "There's nobody going to be talking to him like that when he gets out in the world. They're not going to be talking, 'Sweetheart.' This is going to be a grown man, a grown black man. You think somebody's going to be..." And that's how they was talking to him. And I stopped them, and they got scared, and they jumped. And I said, "Listen, if he doesn't do better by next semester, he's going back home." They pleaded with me, "Please don't send him back home. Please." I said, "Well, he better do his work." So then I went to see his wrestling coach. I said, "If his grades don't come back up, he won't be wrestling." I had spent Saturdays, my own Saturdays. I stopped my own social life going to his wrestling matches. All day long I would be with him. I would take Gatorade for all his, teammates and all that. So he was a good wrestler. So the coach, of course, this guy, now listen, this wrestling coach is over 6 feet, okay? And at 200-something pounds. This is a man. I told him, he won't be wrestling, he's going to get the grades up, So I go back to work. When he comes home later that evening, he tells me, Aunt Patricia, everybody in that school is afraid of you. He said, all my teachers are afraid of you. My coach is afraid of you. I said, afraid of me for what? They're scared of you. You came in there today the way you were talking, they were so scared. So that tells you, and I don't know, maybe it's a culture thing, because black people don't believe in playing around with kids. Kids obey. Like I say, when I was growing up, I got my behind kicked. And it wasn't kicked, but I'm saying they whipped my behind. No kids, and I told them, I said, I'm not going to finance failure. I said, he's either going to do his work or he's going back home. So, but see, the coddling, you should have seen how they were back. Oh, what's the matter? I said, quit that. You don't call no child like that getting ready to go out into the world. He didn't do his work because he was lazy. That's the bottom line. Nothing kept him from doing it. And so that's what I'm saying about all this coddling kids. So what happened was, I said, listen, do you want to go to college when you graduate or to the military? And he said he wanted to go to the Marines. I'm telling you how smart this kid, he's a smart kid. So the reason he did this is because he was getting so much attention from me, and he didn't want to graduate, he wanted to flunk. And he knew that if he did any work, this is how smart he was, if he did any work, he would pass. So he didn't do anything on purpose. Because he was thinking, I want to spend another year here. I don't want to, I want to be, taken care of like a child, because it's the first time he'd had that attention. But I was not going to pay for a child not to do their work. So he decided he wanted to go into the Marines. To show you how smart he is, I took him to see the Marine recruiter. They scheduled him for the ASVAB. That's the military test to get into the military. You have to, the entrance exam. That boy scored so high. He scored higher than I scored when I entered. That's how smart. He sat down one afternoon after wrestling and sat down and took that test. Oh, just like that. And another thing, that the competency test that they take. You can't graduate. The state competency test that you have to take in each state to graduate. Oh, he had already taken it in Tennessee, but when he got here in California, you had to take it here in order to graduate. And from what I've heard, I know in LA County, a lot of the kids can't pass that. They have a poor, a low pass rate. Most of the kids can't pass. It's supposed to be so difficult. So he already passed it in Tennessee, but he had to take it. They told him the day before. They said, tomorrow you got to take the test. He went and sat down and took that test and scored. He just aced it because I got his score. So like if it was 200 was the max out of, the high score, he got 200, 400, whatever. He maxed each section with reading comprehension, math, so the different, but he maxed it all. And he didn't study for it, he didn't prepare for it, he just took it the next day and passed it. So what I'm saying is, these people out here, I guess in California, I don't know how it is in other states, but they're coddling kids. They wanted to baby him and find out, what can we do to make you do your work? And then they tried to hide him from me. Said I was going to abuse him, and I probably would have got a hold to him and I would have taken his head and slammed it into the first wall I could find, because there's no excuse for failure. So it's the public school systems as well as the university, like you said. Like I said, I don't have any kids, so I didn't realize how it was until that happened to me. So we are in a mess in America. What are we going to do? And if you don't have homeschooling is great. I remember if a woman is married and she can stay at home and raise and homeschool her kids, that's the best thing. That's perfect. Every woman can't do that, because a lot of women are single parents and they can't do it and they can't afford it. I remember when I lived in New York and I was sitting on the subway beside a lady, and when we were talking and, she's asking me what I did for a living, and I asked her what she did. She says, well, I'm just a stay-at-home mom. And I said, lady, don't you know you have the most important job in the world? I said, your job is more important than any job, because the best contribution anybody can give to society is to raise their children. Raise them to be productive, law-abiding citizens that gives back, that contribute to society positively. That's the best thing you can do. I don't care how broke you are. If you can raise your kid, that's your contribution. And that's what I told that lady. She said, you made me feel so good. I said, I'm not just saying that. Your job is the most important, not being in corporate America. Raising your kids is the most important, because that's why we have Nancy Pelosi and them, almost 80 years old, Maxine Ward, all those people that's saying all this dumb stuff. These people are old and they're acting like kids. They won't even do any kind of legislation, nothing. All they're doing is pouting and trying to get back at the president. I've never in my life seen grown people act like this. Today I learned John McCain's family, they're still so upset over Trump when John McCain started with the stuff with Trump. And Trump, he fights back. They're so upset with Trump. They're so petty. These people are old people that they say they're going to back Joe Biden for 2020 because they want to get rid of Trump. How can you be 60 and 70 years old and be that petty that you would turn on your own political party because you want to get back at one person that ticked you off? I don't understand how we got here, people. I don't understand it. So then we got it's just too much. So we have these people that's in leadership, that's leading our country, and they're so petty and so selfish that they're playing games with our future. Playing games, messing up our school systems, trying to mess up our economy, trying to let people in the open borders, let people flood in from other countries. This is where we are, people. And if we don't pray, exactly what a lot of commenters have been saying, if you don't believe in God and you don't pray, you're going to be lost, because the only hope we have is to pray, and we can vote and we can be active in the community, but when it comes to time, then there's nothing man can do. It's going to take some supernatural power, people. That's all I can say. Have a blessed day.